Welcome to the Q1 Buck Pull. I'm Tim Hart. He's Mike Big Buck Hoffner. Well, the deer are starting to come into the Q1 Buck Pull, and you can see them all at q1buckpull.com. Mike, we've got some big ones, but we got a lot of medium ones in so far.
Well, you know what? The thing I'm excited about, Tim, is deer are starting to come in, and we'll have deer from now till the end of the season. And I've even gotten some phone calls in between saying, hey, I've shot a deer, get them registered.
That just kind of makes you crazy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. This is what it's all about. It's deer hunting, man.
Oh, he gets crazy out there. Well, we're going to go out, and we hopefully will have a successful hunt on one of our upcoming shows here with me and Big Buck here. He's going to be the shooter, I'll be the cameraman, as it always is. One of these days we'll change positions. Anyway, on this week's show, we've got the DNR. We're going to be talking about the rap room. Dean Molnar is with us, and he's going to talk about how you can report, what the process is, and how it all works.
Yeah, well, reporting all poaching is the name of the game with the DNR, and actually we want to promote hunting safely and ethically, and that's what that's all about.
We also have portobello stuffed backstrap with whiskey peppercorn cream sauce. Delicious from the Country Smokehouse, Steve Francis and Chef Ryan Renovich.
I'll tell you what, if you pay attention to the segments, you'll put yourself together a fantastic cookbook. Last year, recipes galore. This year, no different. We'll have a lot of different things
and
to
they
choose
do
from.
say that venison, of course, is a leaner meat, so maybe you won't be so chubby when you get done eating.
Well, I'll tell you what, I did my exercise program this year, put all 30 back on. I got to go back it again after Christmas.
Isn't that the way?
It's tough being us.
Oh, my goodness. Well, go out in the woods and walk a little bit. You'll lose some weight. We also have the 2012 Buck Pull entries, as I talked about. And then we're going to show you a deer that was infected with EHD, died a little bit later, but you can kind of see the effects as it's kind of wobbling out there.
Yeah, he caught him wobbling, and guess what? He said it was but a couple hours later, found him dead.
All that and more right here on the Q1 Buck Pull. Stay with us. We've got more coming up.
The Q1 Buck Pull is sponsored by these participating businesses who support the great outdoors in Michigan.
All right, what do you do when you're out there deer hunting and you see somebody doing something illegal? Well, you need to report them. And who do you report them to? That's the big question a lot of people have. How do you report them? And we're going to find out today with the DNR in the rap room.
Well, that's what it's all about, Tim, is rapping of a different kind, and that's reporting all poaching.
Well, we're now in the rap room, which is the report all poaching room here with the DNR. We've got Assistant Chief of Law Enforcement Dean Molnar with us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
All right, now we've been in the rap room before and had a chance to kind of take a look at it. Explain how this operation works.
Sure. This is a 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year operation, Tim. We've got, as you can see, we've got our dispatchers out here, and they are taking calls coming in from the public. And when a call comes in, an operator will, kind of at the screen behind me, fill out this form. They're going to ask for a lot of information. Of course, the more detailed information we get, the better off the case the officer can make. But again, we man this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so somebody can call in. A lot of times people will see something during the day that maybe when they get home call in. But with the advent of cell phones now, it's almost immediate. They can call right in from the field.
And probably the big key is where are you located, and that way you can kind of match an officer within that area.
That's correct. I mean, as you know, we're downtown Lansing. We're on the 7th floor of the Mason building. However, with our radio system that we have, it's an 800 megahertz system that goes statewide. We can talk to somebody over on the west end of the UP like you and I are sitting here talking here. So this is where we dispatch all the information out to all the districts, because what we do is, if it comes into, let's say, a Siegel County, okay, complaint comes in for Siegel County, the operator is going to go to our screen, and we know who's working, when they're working, and they'll be able to match the closest officer to that complaint to get that information as fast out in the field as we can.
Well, and one of the things I think a lot of people know statewide, and that is funding is down, not as many officers out in the field, and so that makes it even more important for people that are outdoorsmen and outside helping you guys out.
Absolutely, because, you know, we have the great pleasure of working for the department, okay, as conservation officers. However, the fish and game and the resources of the state belong to the people. You know, we work for the people of the state of Michigan, so we need their help. And that's why we have this 800 line that they can call in, and they can be our eyes and ears. All right, again, with cell phones and with, they can take photos, they can get information, a license plate number, description, time of date, place, all that type of things, and then call it in to us. Never, ever do we want somebody to take any enforcement action on their own. You know, we really want to stress that, be our eyes and ears, but again, it's everybody's resources, and we all need to work together to protect them.
Dean, let's talk a little bit about some of the stories and complaints. I know you had something in Aranac before, last year with a complaint, and it wasn't just one person. We had a kind of a combination. Explain that to me.
Right. Well, that one came in, that was actually in Aranac where you wouldn't think a bear complaint would come in. Somebody witnessed somebody shoot a bear off of a combine. Okay, or at least they thought it was a bear. You know, again, so they called it in, our officers investigated, and actually that ended up being 3 people were charged with that one because one person actually did shoot a bear off a combine. Another took possession of the parts, of the hide and the claws and things like that, and another person took the meat. So 3 people were actually charged in that one. You know, and it's a matter of, we get all kinds of calls in here. I mean, anywhere from, I've got a person trespassing on my property, or I think somebody may be doing something illegal. If you think you've got a complaint and there's something there, give us a call. You know, we took over 6,100 complaints last year, you know, and many of those resulted in arrest.
All right, so here's a big question, though, for people out there. When should I not call the wrap room?
Sure. You know, again, over 6,100 complaints came in here, but we get an awful lot more calls in here, too. What we suggest that if you've got a, let's say I want to know, what's the fishing like in Lake whatever, someplace, let's say up in Antrim County. You know, go to our website, and that's actually, Antrim County's out of the Gaylord District. You know, call the Gaylord Operations Service Center, you know, for that local specialized kind of information, because again, we're down in Lansing down here, and our operators don't really know that type of information. So we'd like to have them call the Operations Service Center when you have an informational question. And then you can get, we can get you to a wildlife biologist or a fisheries biologist, you know, to whatever your question may be. But if they're in doubt, you know, should I call or shouldn't I call? Call us. We want our folks to call us. You know, so if they're not sure if it's a complaint or not, or even if they're not sure where to go, don't hesitate to call us here.
Another thing that people might not be aware of, and that is you do have a rewards program that goes along with this.
Oh, absolutely. And this is something that we've had for a long time. Report All Poaching hotline can get you some reward money, you know, depending on the case and, you know, how much involvement the person gives us. You know, it depends on how much we're going to pay them out. But we encourage people, and, you know, honestly, most people call in aren't in it for the reward.
Right.
Some people are, and some people really deserve it because they go out of their way to really help us protect the resource.
So you can be involved here with helping the conservation in the state of Michigan. The WRAP line is available, again, as he said, 24/7. And the big thing, too, to remind people is you can remain anonymous.
Absolutely. If you choose so, you can remain anonymous. We can get the information. We'll get it out to an officer that you won't be contacted. Because a lot of folks, you know, are calling because it's maybe a relative or somebody they know.
Right.
And they're really hesitant. You know, our officers are professionals, and they know how to handle those situations. I mean, we've been doing it a long time, so you can call, you can leave that anonymous, or if you do want to say, you know, hey, I'll give you my information, but you can't, you got to help me here because it's a relative, let's say. Our officers can work with that person on that.
And I will let everybody know, too, that we are a big proponent of this on the Q1 buck poll, and if anybody is poached a deer or anything when it comes to, you know, not taking it legally, we make sure that we are in contact with the DNR. Of course, we have a lot of officers that look at the buck poll, the site, and see when deer were taken and all that type of thing because, again, we feel that it's a part of the stewardship out there.
Absolutely, and we appreciate your support.
All right, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Tim.
All right, Assistant Chief of Law Enforcement Dean Molnar has been with us, and that's your DNR segment from the Wrap Room here in Lansing. Well, Mike, really some great information with the DNR, and you can learn more about the Wrap Room online, and if you have any questions, you can always call them.
Yeah, you know, I really appreciate our relationship with them. That's part of the educational segments, and if you pay attention to those details, you should have both a safe, ethical, and great hunting season.
All right, so now you see Huffner. He said he put on an extra 30 pounds. right?
Yep, I did.
Because he's been making himself some of the recipes on the Q1 Buck Pole. When we come back, we've got Chef Ryan Renovich and also Steve Francis from the Country Smokehouse, and we're going to cook up some backstraps after this. We're fortunate to live in the great state of Michigan with millions of acres of recreational land, 11,000 inland lakes, and for a lot of people, it's a dream come true to own their own piece of property. Today I've got Randy Steck with us. He's a Senior Vice President of Sales and Customer Relations at Greenstone Farm Credit Services. Randy, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Tim.
Now, Greenstone has been a proud sponsor of the Q1 Buck Pole for a number of years, and you've really helped thousands of Michigan residents own a piece of recreational land.
Yes, we have provided financing for thousands of folks across the state, and we're very happy to be part of that dream building process.
And you know, Randy, owning a piece of recreational land means what? You can manage it the way you want, you can create food plots, habitat areas for wildlife, so it's really something that is an awesome thing for outdoor enthusiasts.
Yes, in addition to habitat improvement for wildlife, but also improvements for the human side of things too, where they can enjoy the luxury of a cabin or bring in electricity to the property. So it involves not only just wildlife habitat improvement, but also improving the property in general for everybody.
And Greenstone has a number of outdoor enthusiasts on staff, but you also have locations all over the state too.
Yes, our 31 offices are conveniently located to the bulk of the customers that we do business with, and we encourage those folks to stop in and talk to us. We share a lot of the same values and beliefs that the outdoors community has, and many of our staff actually enjoy the same activities.
Randy, there's a lot of different programs too, aren't there?
Yes, we can provide financing for up to 30 years and a fixed rate of interest for as little as 20% down.
Randy, how can I find out more about the programs that are available from Greenstone?
Well, there are a variety of methods. Certainly you can check us out on the web. You can reach us at our toll-free number anywhere in the state of Michigan, or you can also stop by one of our 31 conveniently located offices. And
if you're a successful hunter out there, you can take your buck or doe to any of the different Greenstone offices across the state. And I expect to see you holding a big rack out here this year.
Well, I certainly hope to.
All right, Randy, thanks for being with us. Randy Steck's been with us from Greenstone Farm Credit Services. Well, it's time to do a little cooking here on the Q1 Buck Pole. You can find all of our recipes online. You can watch the segments. Today, we're cooking with the Country Smokehouse up in Imlay City. Steve Francis and Chef Ryan Renovich.
Well, that's my favorite part of the show, is we're going to do a little eating, get on those winter coats.
Yeah. We're cooking it up right here at the Country Smokehouse in Alma. We got Steve Francis with us. All right, Ryan Renovich with us, and he's our chef today. And this is a weekend kind of a cookout barbecue place right here on the highway.
Yeah, this started out as just getting people to sample our products in the store. We put a little barbecue wagon out here, and it has grown. There's 100, 125 people at a time sitting out here dining and eating out here by the roadside.
Well, really, and especially if you're going to cook up something like we're going to cook up. Ryan, what are we going to make today?
We're going to make a portobello stuffed venison backstrap for the char grill here, and then we're going to top it off with a whiskey peppercorn cream sauce. I'm going to open up this backstrap.
The tenderest part of the deer.
It is.
Got a little far, got to back up.
Yep.
Oh, you might be able to salvage that.
Lay it out nice and flat. I'm going to use some of our Steve's House Rub. It's great on anything. I put it on grilled vegetables, pork, potatoes, venison.
What's all in the rub?
It's 37 seasonings, and I can't tell you what they are.
It's a secret. It's a secret. So you're going to do both sides of it, right?
Season both sides liberally. Take our sauteed off onions and portobello mushrooms.
Oh, that looks good. That looks good.
Get as many in there as possible. All right, roll it.
So what did you do with the mushrooms to get them into the saute and that sort of thing?
I sauteed them off in a little bit of olive oil, some garlic. Did the onions first, then follow with the portobello. If you wanted to reduce some white wine in there, you could do that, or red wine, whatever flavor you like. Everything's nice and tightly tied. I'm going to season it again with the house rub. This stuff is the magic.
So a variety of seasonings. It's not hot or anything
it's not
like
hot.
that.
It's very savory. You got onion powder, garlic powder, some celery salt. Go ahead and throw that on the grill. Your grills at home will have lids, so we're going to cover it with a lid.
Now, how long will you leave that on the grill?
It's going to take about 15 to 18 minutes, depending on the way you like your meat. Again, you don't want to overcook this.
Well, for me now, I like well done meat, but you know, not well done venison. That's for sure.
Right.
All right, so you're going to put a cover on it just to kind of keep all the heat in.
Right. Well, that's cooking. We're going to go right into our sauce. We're going to start off with a little butter. I like to use butter whenever I can.
Well, it just adds to it. Some people like the margarine. I like the real butter myself.
Saute off our onions. Get a good caramel color on them. We really want to brown these up. You want about a medium-high heat. You want to get a good caramel color on them, probably about 3-4 minutes. Meantime, you can keep turning your back strap.
And again, how long are you going to cook that back strap?
Probably 12, 18 minutes, 15, 18 minutes, depending on how you like your meat. If you want a medium rare, I would pull it at about 14 minutes. Okay. We're going to go add some chopped garlic.
And how much garlic are you going to use?
That's about a half tablespoon.
I know some people like more than others. It really depends.
It's at your leisure, yeah. If you want it really garlicky, go ahead and add it. Give that about a minute saute. And we're going to sprinkle in some flour.
Just regular flour?
Just regular flour. We're going to creating a roux. It's going to help thicken our sauce. See how it all comes together there?
Oh yeah, you can see it all. Oh, now the best part about it.
I'm going to add some Seagram 7. This is going to give it a good, nice caramel color. Careful adding it over the flame. It will ignite. We're going to reduce that down by 50%.
Now, will that burn off a lot of the alcohol too?
That's why we want to reduce it down by 50%. That's when the alcohol is going to be all gone and just the caramel flavor will be there from the whiskey itself. We're going to add some venison stock.
Look at how creamy it's getting now. Our sauce looks like it's all done. That really thickened up though.
Your roux thickened up pretty good. Now it's time to finish with the cream.
And what kind of cream are you using there?
Heavy whipping cream. I like to use heavy whipping cream anytime I can. Nice and rich. We get ours from a local dairy farm.
Fresh at the Country Smokehouse.
Fresh.
Just like everything else.
Season with some salt and cracked black pepper. Backstrap's looking good. I think it's time to plate up.
All right, well, let's try it up. Gotta have a little mashed potatoes with it. Well, that sauce is excellent. You know, and I'm one that normally eats a lot of things that are plain, but I tell you right now, that has a lot of flavor, or a lot of flavor. The potatoes are good. They got that sauce on it. Cooking it up right. And again, this is a weekend thing that you guys got going on out here just at the cabin, but you'll cater and do any kind of meals anywhere, right?
Yes, anywhere we'll go. We've done stuff in the UP, we've done stuff in Ohio. We'll go anywhere. Any style dinner, barbecue, whatever they like.
Well, and you got one of the best executive chefs around, don't you? Brian, thanks for being with us again.
Thanks, sir.
All right, all the recipes can be found online at the Q1 Buck Bowl. Ryan Runovich has been our executive chef here at the Country Smokehouse. And Steve Francis, as always, good to have you, buddy. All right, Steve Francis, we're at the Country Smokehouse, and you're watching the Q1 Buck Bowl. I will tell you personally, it was delicious. And I'm not a big portobello stuffed anything out there. And with the whiskey peppercorn cream sauce over the top, you know, again, I'm not a wide range eater, but this was delicious.
You know, and the thing I like about it, I mean, you look at all the segments we've shot, what a variety of way to cook venison, and I love them all.
Well, a lot of people think, oh, well, I'm just going to grind it up and I'm going to make venison burgers, or I'm going to just throw the back straps and just kind of cook them, which sometimes that makes it really tough, and this is an excellent way, and you can get the recipe online. And we thank the Country Smokehouse for being on this week's show. Stay with us when we come back. We've got entries from the 2012 season right here on the Q1 Buck Bowl. Well, it's time to show you what has come in so far here on the Q1 Buck Poll for the 2012 season from around the state of Michigan. And again, the way we measure is the number of points on each side, the inside spread, the mass at the base, and then the longest time.
And this is just a quick snippet of a number of deer brought in, and that number is going to grow throughout the season. So let's start out with Caleb Brenning with an 8-pointer from Jackson, Michigan. The score was 32. Nathan Moore from Warren, Michigan with an 8-pointer. His score was 35.5. Tyler Gresver with an 8-pointer from Charlotte, Michigan. His score was 36 3/4. Brandon Rockwell from Jackson with an 8-pointer. The score is 38. Lauren Martin from Kalamazoo with an 8-pointer. The score is 39.88. Moving up the ladder, let's bring in Richard Clark's 9-pointer from Jackson, Michigan with a nice score of 41. Then my friend from the Branch Area Career Center from Brunson, Michigan, Kevin Keck with an 8-pointer. The score was 42.5 points. Remington Roy, what a name, from Midland, Michigan, 9-pointer, brings in a score of 43.25. Elijah Hayes from Beaverton with a 12-pointer. The score is 44. And finally, Aaron Moore from DeFord with a score of 53.88 coming from the thumb.
And I will tell you this, that the deer are going to get bigger. EHD has caused a lot of problems in and around, mostly I would say in the southern part of Michigan, although we've had it on the show in previous weeks. 21, 22 counties now reporting deer dead of EHD. And Mike, it really affects the deer, makes them a little wobbly. And as you can see, we had a video from one of our viewers out there, Brian Crispillo, showing a little bit of how the deer reacts out there.
Yeah, I've talked to Brian. We were at a meeting together, the Workforce Development Board meeting, and he said he took some footage of this, had it on his trail cams, took the video, and he said 2 hours after the video was shot, found the deer dead.
Well, and as we've talked about in previous segments, you can eat that deer. But again, I'm not a big fan of that myself. No. I just don't think so.
And that's
but it only affects deer, the midge fly.
You know what? And that's probably one of the big controversial thing looming above us with that whole issue is, can I eat that deer? And I've heard a lot of people saying, I'm going to wait till the frost comes down before I go out and do my hunting.
All right, next week we'll have a whole slate of new deer here on the Q1 Buck Poll. We've got some great segments coming up with the DNR and some of our guests from around the state. For Mike Big Buck Hoffner, I'm Tim Hart. Whenever you're out in the woods, be safe.
Program, Report All Poaching. Here's Dean Molnar.
How do you say that?
Yeah.
Report all poaching. I'm Big Buck Hoffner.
Okay.